Hey guys, alright, it's Brett from Iron Body Martial Arts here. How's it going? I'm gonna do a bit of a question and answer video here, hopefully, and a bit of information, question and answer. Got loads of questions, so look, thanks to everyone who supports the channel, and thank you to the Patreon guys following on Patreon. Also, big well, not big thanks, but big thanks to all the people who have subscribed to the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course. That's doing really well, and it's getting really good views. So if you are part of that course, please do share your views with us here online. Share your training with us, because obviously it's very interesting to see how people are doing with that. So yeah, that's really cool. I got loads of questions about training. I got loads of stuff. As you guys probably know, I've just moved house, so it's hard to keep up. So we'll just give we'll give everyone a chance to come along. There's a lot of people who come along to these things and they miss them, so we'll give them a chance to come along. I'll look for some questions that we get here on some of the videos. And as always, feel free to chuck your questions in here. I don't know how long this video will last. If you guys look back for the last couple of days, I did a few videos of training, grip training. So check those out, always valuable. And also, I need to do an update on my IBMA at the MMA gym videos, because yeah, there's loads been going on there. I did some sparring. Because the sparring's only held on Saturday. So I did some sparring the other day, which was awesome. Usually I miss it because of work. So that was cool. All right, well, let's go into some question and answers here on the channel. So we'll go to various different videos. So we've got some question and answers here on the Iron Palm sand training video. So that's the sand bucket training method for striking with your fingers into the sand. Paolo Papa. Some of these I might have already responded to you guys personally. Paolo Papa says, if he doesn't have sand, can he use maybe rice or a wall for training his fingers? So my short answer to that is yes, you can. Rice is good, but sand's probably cheaper. And if you dig deep enough in your back garden, you'll probably find some sand. He also says, does rice have more resistance? And he says, yeah, better save up to buy a sack of sand. Well, yeah. Obviously, rice and beans, mung beans, rice and mung beans are the traditional filling to do the Iron Palm sand training. But rice is fine, corn is fine, any other grain. Mung beans are meant to have an ingredient in them that help you with your iron fist and your Iron Palm training, and that's why they're included. And also they're quite dense. That's why they're usually the beginner's staple. With regards to actually striking your fingers into a wall or something like that, there is a 72 secret art. There is a technique in 72 secret arts of the Shaolin. I forget precisely what it's called, where you strike with your fingers, just at wood. Usually at wood first. You strike with the fingers at wood. Obviously, this would be mimicking eye strikes. That's a thing. It's a very difficult method. And a lot of people forget, a lot of these 72 secret arts of Shaolin methods are they're trained along with a whole other things. So the same people who be doing striking with the fingers into wood will be doing fingertip push-ups, will be doing the sand or gravel or rice training, beans training, and other kinds of trainings. So there we go. What else have we got? Y2J, I think I responded to Y2J. Y2J says, hey, I have a question. I wanted to start Iron Palm, but I can't get Dit to Joe. It was mentioned in every video I watched. Can I use any other ligaments? Or is Dit to Joe the only thing? So yeah. Is Dit to Joe the only thing? Well, that's a very broad question. It's a good question. I trained for many years without Dit to Joe, as you guys might know if you follow the channel. If I do cover this topic in the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course, you need to find some way of heating up your hands in simple terms, or increasing the blood circulation. One of the best ways you can do that is just by doing a good warm-up. Sort of traditional karate style. So do a good warm up, or whatever, you know, like any sport, like any martial art, you know, or Muay Thai or whatever. So you do a good warm up. You know, do a warm up. Do some burpees. Do a run. Do a whatever, and the blood will be circulating around your body. You'll be warm. It'll be sort of coursing through your veins. And then do some skipping, and then again, I cover this in the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course. Then do your striking or your Iron Palm training, because the benefits are obviously your cardio will improve, your ability to endure physical hardship will improve, which is one thing you need to be able to do for conditioning, and your heart rate stays high, so it keeps your blood flowing. Yeah, so also in between sets of training, you can do some skipping just to keep that heart rate high, because it'll start to, you know, slow down from the striking. What else? Any kind of heat rub. There's a lot of different tree rubs and stuff like that. Like you can get rubs, all sorts of different rubs from different roots and trees that kind of heal bruises, or meant to take away muscle pain and cramps. Any kind of those rubs. The only ones I wouldn't recommend are the actual medicated ones, like Voltarol. You know, the ones with Western kind of chemicals in them, because they're not. Yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but it's just not, yeah, I have no experience of using those for Iron Palm. So yeah, heating your hands up in hot water, that helps. Yeah, Red Tiger Balm. I mean, look, there's loads of people come to me and say, look, I can't get Dit to Joe, but honestly, there's probably not a corner of the earth where you can't buy a little jar of Red Tiger Balm for a couple of bucks, or whatever your denomination of currency is. So yeah, Red Tiger Balm, look out for that. That's a great one. You know, put it on, hands go red, stimulates the blood circulation, get your training going. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, okay. So thanks for that, Y2J. Good old Rashid Martial Arts says, how do you balance work and training? How do you balance work and training? Well, geez, that's another long question there from Rashid Martial Arts. How do you balance work and training? What was my reply I gave to him? I think I just said life, my brother. Yeah. How do you balance work and training? Well, look, everyone's got to find their own way to balance work and training. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. You know, well, what can you do? There we go. Everyone's got to find their own way to balance work and training, from the question here from Rashid Martial Arts. I'm sure you guys have a lot of good opinions on how to balance your work and training. Hey there, thanks for the thumbs up. Just doing a bit of a question and answer today. Maybe we'll do some training as well in a subsequent video later on. Just so many questions and answers from people. This one's, how do you balance work and training? So again, as I was saying, you've kind of got to work it out. in your own life. But I guess you gotta do it. You gotta maybe set yourself a goal, and then if you set yourself a goal, you'll be able to balance your work and training. You gotta, maybe your goal is, you want to increase your fitness, you want to increase your toughness, you want to break a brick or something like that, and divide your time, see what extra time you do have, wake up before work and do your training, go after work and do your training. It is very difficult, but it's just something you got to look. People work shifts, like I work shifts, like a lot of people say. I work night shifts, I work all different shifts, and my shift roster is always changing. It's like revolving. So people are like, well, how do you balance your training? Well, you've just got to fit your training into your free time. You got to try. There's no hard and fast rule answer to that. What other questions do we have? Oh, Ermac 4444 has been commenting on the channel a fair bit recently. He says, bro, with consistent training, how long do you think it would take to smash a brick? And also, can you break boards every day? Does it work the same way that you get better with kicks every day you practice? Is it the same concept? So yeah, for Ermac there, for Ermac 444, again, Ermac, how long's a piece of string? So I usually say, I know there's a lot of this iron palm in 100 days stuff. So just doing question answer. I know there's a lot of iron palm in 100 days, but as Ermac says here, how long do you think it'd take to smash a brick? Well, to me, iron palm training and conditioning, 100 days is the minimum. So it is not the maximum. So 30, 60, 90, you usually, traditionally in 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin, you would do this conditioning training, you do it in 90-day blocks, 3 months. So how long does it take to break a brick? Maybe 6 months, maybe more, but don't really, I know I said before, set yourself goals, but maybe don't really put that roof onto things. Just concentrate on the training, and you will get stronger. And that's all that matters. Your hands or your body stronger today or stronger next week than it was last week. That's the only purpose of the training. So don't worry too much about breaking. I mean, breaking is breaking. Especially when you start off, it attracts people to the iron palm training, it attracts people to the conditioning, but rather focus on your training and focusing on the breaking. So that's a good question from Ermac. Got some more questions here. What's this? Tum Danukes says, can we see your hands? How tough are they? Oh, hello Tum Danukes, how are you doing? Well, I don't know how tough my hands are. They probably don't look too different to many other people's hands. Yeah. Story man, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Just doing a bit of question and answer today. Just a bit of a chat on different things. Got so many questions here from people on the channel. How tough are my hands? Well, as you guys see on my videos, I can break bricks, smash stuff. I can bend steel bars. I've got some videos of that, chopping steel bars, albeit that was a couple of years ago. Tomac says, have you heard of Okinawan hand conditioning? Traditional Okinawan. I would say that the same sort of Okinawan hand conditioning is the sort of stuff that I've been training for, the last 19 years or so. So yeah, man, heard of that. Let's see. Oh, okay. We've got Mavith Gaming says on one of the brick break videos that I did, because I did a bunch of recent brick break videos where I wanted to show you guys different breaks. So we had like the flat brake, we had side brakes and stuff like that. I wanted to show you guys different brakes. But Mamith Gaming says, is there any technique to braking those bricks? And my reply to that, brake you're doing, and there are like, for instance, there are ways to, you know, there are better ways to set them up. You know, like for instance, you know, if you put your brick in the middle and you had like the sides really close, obviously the distance that you have to brake is less and less and less, and that makes it harder and harder and harder. So is there a technique? Well, there's ways to set them up, but like a proper braking doesn't really, I guess everything has a technique, but proper braking just requires you to have the ability to do the brake. But again, I actually I do a breakdown of the brakes in my Iron Hand course. The link's on the video here. But without going into it, because I don't have the pictures, but I've got pictures on there, and you can see the angles and stuff and how it should work. It does involve physics. Yes, braking involves physics. That's why I say to people, braking's awesome, but don't focus too much on braking. Just focus on training, because that's what's going to actually matter. You know, being able to have the strong grip or hit something without damaging your knuckles is great. Teddy Moo. How do you say that? Tudemo says, have you ever broken your fingers? No, luckily, that's a good question actually. Luckily, I've never broken my fingers or anything like that, or broken my hand. I've hurt my hand before, but I've done a lot of training. I've done a lot of the conditioning training over many years. So even when I was first braking, when I was quite young, oh, it's the cat. Even when I was first braking, I'd already done a lot of conditioning training. But you get stuff like, you can, you know, like palm strikes. You can get little nicks to the bone. To be honest, pardon me, the biggest thing you get when you do braking is cuts, because you break a brick or you break whatever, and your skin will never be, when you're smashing something. Go on, cat, off you go. When you're smashing something, your skin is always skin, you know. So it'll always get cut with the forces. And that's, again, the problem with braking early on. If you're trying to brake early on in your training, you know, you can't really carry on training if you get cut. So yeah, all right, we've got another question here. Oh, it's just Storyman saying to Tumdukes. It looks like a French name. He's just saying that Okinawa Tumdo. Oh, there we go, Tumdo. Sorry, bro. You can say. Although I lived in Belgium for 3 years, my French is terrible. So yeah, my pronunciations are bad. So yeah, cuts are the biggest things to your training, because obviously you can't put on Did to Joe. You can't train the next day. Well, you can, but you just got to be careful. Alrighty. Someone says here, Major Premise is asking about the sand training. The video where you do the sand training. He's asking, you know, is this a good exercise for arthritis or post-carpal tunnel surgery or rehabilitation therapy of the hands, or any kind of surgery to your hands? Oh, well, obviously, look, first off, I'm not a medical doctor, you know, so I'm not going to advise anyone to do, you know, stuff. But having said that, I know that if you have any hand surgery or stuff like that, the physiotherapist will give you like grippers to get your grips good, and also the rice bucket. Using the rice bucket, you know, to move your hand around inside and gripping the rice and opening your hand is a well used method even in the West, for rehabilitating your hand and building hand strength again. So that goes without saying that if you use your if you use your sand bucket training, and as a rehab, you can do that, you know, with the striking. But you can probably do more gripping and opening. It's just now you guys have probably seen there's a few gadgets online where you've got these rubber bands on your fingers and people are focusing on the opening strength part of the hand instead, as well as just the closing. So the antagonistic, yeah, you gotta work the other things too. Yeah, so that's great. That's what the sand's great for, you know, working the opening of your hand. Tumdo says, have you been able to train anywhere since COVID? Yeah, well, we're lucky here in this part of Australia that I live in, that we're still doing training and stuff. So I go to an MMA club here, and just a Saturday just gone, I did 2 hours. Obviously I go to the club anyway. I do BJJ. I do sometimes some Muay Thai kickboxing, but I went and some boxing and some no-gi wrestling. But I went to the gym on Saturday and I did 2 hours of sparring. So I did like an hour of sparring, an hour and a bit of sparring, like kickboxing style. I wanted to do MMA sparring, but we ended up doing kickboxing and boxing style. And then did some rolling afterwards, some no-gi rolling. So that was cool. So yeah, we're lucky here where I live. It's probably one of the few places where you can still do, you know, grappling, BJJ, you can still do martial arts, and you can still work with partners. So yeah, the sparring was good. I'm going to put out my IBMA at the MMA gym video series that I do. And so I'm going to put out a video about that because I need to update everyone. But it was great. It was great training. It's had good sparring. Time to go to bed from Washington, D.C. Tumdo, thank you very much, my friend. The COVID heaven. Well, look, best of health to you guys. Look, I hope you're safe. And I'm sorry that you guys can't, you know, train out there and things are being closed down. Yeah, just keep safe. Thanks for tuning in anyway. We've got Storyman, do you prefer training outside or inside? Good old Storyman. Again, thanking all the Patreons for supporting the channel. Tumdo retracted his message. There's a cat over there. I know it's a bit of a mix, really. Yeah, I like training outside. You know, here in Australia, it's nice and sunny and warm. I think training inside and training outside has its own merits, but generally training outside is cool. I really enjoy doing endurance and like toughness training outside, like we were doing the other day. We were flipping the tire. If you guys check out the other live training, we were flipping the tire. We were doing, what else were we doing? We were doing our grip and strength training. I really enjoy that kind of training outside, going for pack marches to keep the endurance up. Yeah, I really enjoy that kind of training outside, and of course martial arts training. But I don't mind training inside, like going to the MMA gym, and you know, sometimes you have to work on the mats. So yeah, it's all good. It's a good question from Storyman. What about you, Storyman? What do you enjoy more? Okay, what else do we have here, question-wise? There's so many questions. Oh, Joko Mono. This is funny. Joko Mono says, so I've got a very old video on headstands. It's probably about 7 years old. So Joko Mono says, I find this hard to do. Would I be able to put a sandbag on my head and leave it there whilst I'm watching TV, or a weight plate? Would that work? I did reply to him. So yeah, for head training and neck training. So look, neck training is very important. You know, I was just sparring on Saturday and I caught some good combos. I tucked my head, but I caught some good combos to the head. You know, I think we went a little bit hard, but yeah, I got a good solid hits to the head, which you've always got to try and avoid. The main issue is you need a strong neck to help stop yourself from, to help you from not getting knocked out and dazed. And also chokes and stuff like that. I think I've still got a, do I still have a, I don't know if I've still got the mark or it's healed. I think it's healed now. But I had a nice solid mark here from escaping a, bloody hair, from the cat, from escaping a rear naked choke. But yeah, good solid strong neck is really important. How do you train that? Well, there's lots of gadgets. There's lots of gadgets like those weight things you put on your head and stuff. But one of the best ways of training that I like is doing headstands. So, you know, you just do headstands on the floor. You put a towel down, you do headstands. It toughens up your head, toughens up your neck, strengthens everything. But of course, our friend here, Joko Mono, is saying he has problems doing that. Well, one, you got to build up to it. So my advice to Joko Mono would be you start with yoga headstands, yeah? And you can look them up, but yoga headstands are supported headstands where you support your, you just like, you do this, but you do it on the floor. Yeah, so you kneel down, you go like this on the floor. Yeah, you can imagine, so you're like a tripod, 3 points of contact, and then you lift your knees up and you keep your knees crouched and you kind of balance there a little bit and there'll be pressure on the head. And then you straighten your feet, obviously. And it's something you got to do every day, every other day. You got to build up to it. You got to do it regularly. That's the only way any of these trainings work, is if you do them regularly, if you build up to them. Yeah, it's the only way they work. We all know this. It's the same with bodybuilding, weightlifting. If you just lift a weight once in a while, you'll get very little benefit from it. What else have we got? Yanda Bajorano. So I did some brick breaking videos recently, punching the brick. And Yanja Bajorano says, what goes through your mind before you break a brick? Well, if I suppose the worst thing that can go through your mind is doubt whether you're going to be able to do it, or worry that you're going to hurt yourself or your hand. But of course, that's always going to happen because we're just human beings. We're always going to worry. So the best thing that can go through your head is just nothing. Just absolutely nothing. So let that worry happen for a second. Oh, am I going to be able to do it? You know, what can I do about this break? And then let that pass and just nothing. And then just do the strike. Storyman says he mostly prefers training inside as it's more convenient. He doesn't have much opportunity to train outside, especially in a pandemic. But on occasion, I go hiking and train on a trail or in a clearing. Yeah, well, that's awesome there, bro. And again, yeah, you know, like I lived in the UK for years. You know, it's very cold outside. You know, sometimes outside training just isn't practical. You know, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. And now with the pandemic, you got to watch out. I mean, my brother's trapped in Melbourne and I keep telling him I'll go and find a tree and train on that. But just, you know, and there's also society. I mean, I remember years ago in Belgium and also in the UK, I was just one of those crazy people who used to walk through the park and used to find me there like bashing my arm against a tree and like practicing my chops against a tree. But most of my training, sometimes I had to go to the parks, you know, which are public areas, try and go back in a corner somewhere. But a lot of it, me and my friends and my old instructor, we used to go like into the woods, you know, because the area we lived, I used to live in North Wales. The area we lived was quite like a mountainous or hilly, woody kind of area. And you know, me and my mates, and even when I was in school, me and my Japanese mate, James, we used to trek up into like little woods and stuff like that, and then we used to go in there training, you know, on the trees. Sometimes we'd take a sword with us, which we definitely weren't allowed to do. We'd take a sword and a bow staff. We'd do some like practice some cutting, you know. I'd wrap the trees in like in a towel, and I do my head, practice the forearm strikes to strengthen up the forearms. That was before I knew about the specific bone training. I just used to train the kind of muscle areas, and I guess the bones were getting trained by mistake. But yeah, that was in my early days of training. But yeah, you do whatever you need to do to train. But Storyman, awesome. Storyman says he's getting to the time of year here where it's going to fall, where it's getting around freezing in the nights. And mornings and a lot of day. Makes training outside hard. Yeah, mate, I feel your pain with regards to training in the cold. Trying to do any kind of conditioning training outside in the cold is really difficult. But we've all done it for years. Like I said, I was in the UK for 20 years doing my training outside and stuff like that. Basically, you got to raise your body temperature, do a warm up, and then do some training. But still, it's difficult. Hey, look, there's a reason why Okinawan karate in Okinawa is the way that it is, and they succeed in their karate so much because they live in a tropical, humid, warm climate. Like I find it the same in Australia here. When I go outside and I start to train, if I want to do some conditioning, even if I'm not that warmed up, my hands are warm, my extremities are warm because the cold hasn't forced the blood to my core. So as a historical reason there's a reason other than healing, going back to the Dit De Zhou topic, there's a reason that the Chinese developed Dit De Zhou. Their country is different. It's cold, it's a big country, but it's got the seasons, it's cold. You need to artificially sometimes heat up, and attract blood to your extremities. Also for after you've trained, because you can jog and run on the spot and stuff like that. And raise your temperature and feel good and train. But then afterwards, when you get cold again, you probably get like, I don't know, you guys know, you get like the blue spots in your knuckles, and you get blue where there's damage. You get blue marks from the, when the blood retreats, you can see the bruising that's caused from the, not from the cold, but you can see it in the cold. So there's a reason why, like in Okinawa, karate just flourished and developed. Because it's warm, humid, tropical. You can pretty much be there outside training, hitting, doing your conditioning. You're going to have warm extremities already. And then after training, when you walk around, your extremities are going to be warm. So it aids recovery. It aids circulation. It's just funny. It's just a nice place for martial arts to settle. For that kind, and that's why I believe, as well as the diet, that's another reason why karate in Okinawa became so strong. So kung fu became so strong in Okinawa because of that tropical climate, and it's also succeeded in parts of Asia, other parts of Asia, and stuff like that. As you go into other parts of Asia, that's where Salat originates from, because a lot of kung fu guys escaped China because of all the problems that happen in China. We've heard about this, we know. Cool, so we got some other questions here. Triple B is there. Hello, Triple B, how do you do? I hope you're doing all right. What do you think? I recall New Zealand being time in the northeast of Australia. What's up, Triple B? What do you think? I recall New Zealand being time the northeast of Australia. Also, Australia seems a lot higher on the world map. Do you know why? How do you rate GSP, Chuck Liddell, and Kempo Karate? Says Triple B. Being to the northeast. What do you think? I recall New Zealand being to the northeast of Australia. I don't know, Triple B. I'm a bit. So what? Sorry, man. I'm not quite following you there. So what do you mean? Are you talking about like altitude training? Are you talking about like, because altitude affects oxygenation? Is that what you're talking about? What have we got here? Triple B says, how do you rate GSP and Chuck Liddell? I think you're right. My geography is not great either, but I think that's where New Zealand is compared to Australia. But yeah, my geography is not too great either. George St. Pierre, this is so annoying. I must do it from here, actually. That's probably better for you guys. Yeah, sorry. George St. Pierre and Chuck Liddell, man, they're amazing guys. Chuck Liddell, I rate Chuck Liddell. I rate George St. Pierre, Kempo Karate. It's obviously done very well for Chuck Liddell. I don't know what George St. Pierre's background is, but as you guys know, I recently spoke to Dave LeDuc from Lethway. And so something about Canada, man, just makes some tough folk. So yeah, awesome guys, awesome bunch of guys. Storyman says, I want to start barefoot walking and running, but the cold makes me reluctant. Good points on Okinawa. Forgot it was that warm. Yeah, now Storyman, it's funny because when I, and again, thanks to all the guys on Patreon who support the channel, when I was living in the UK, in one of my houses, there was like a farm field behind me. And this is, again, I was talking to someone else because, well, we were talking about how to fit martial arts into your life, or how do you fit it around work and training. Oh, Red Chucks. Red Chucks is here. The stash is back. As Red Chucks is here, I was just talking about Dave LeDuc. Stash in a Star Wars t-shirt. How more 70s does it get? But just just as a sidetrack for Red Chucks, I did an interview with Dave LeDuc, and I did say to Red Chucks, I have been meaning to thank Red Chucks. I've been moving house, I've been busy, but I do thank Red Chucks. Please check out his channel. He's got some awesome, like traditional Tameshi Wari style breaks, you know, or I don't know if you call it, yeah, traditional, yeah, the classic, I'll call them classic. Classic style Tameshi Wari breaks. He's obviously a very tough guy. So check out his channel, but I've been meaning to thank him because he's the guy I was chatting to. We were chatting, he mentioned Dave LeDuc, and I said, oh, I'd really like to chat to Dave LeDuc, you know, because I like the bare knuckle, I think it should be pushed more, and the sport combat world underplays it, you know, like I've had people come from sport combat and they've been like dissing on my channel for doing bare knuckle stuff, and I don't understand it. So, but anyway, thanks to Red Chucks, because I spoke to him and I said that Red Chucks, he mentioned Dave LeDuc and he'd been chatting to him. So I said, oh man, I would really like to chat to him. And he's the one who gave me the idea. He said, just message him and he'll chat to you. So thank you, Red Chucks. I did what Red Chucks said. I messaged Dave LeDuc, his controllers, or whatever you call them, his channel. And yeah, ultimately we got him on the channel, which was awesome. So that's thanks to Red Chucks. It's also thanks to my work and perseverance. And maybe, I don't know, because my channel's not super small, but it is also a big, giant thanks to Red Chucks. I'm always catching Red Chucks videos. Interesting guy, tough guy. We were talking about grippers actually the other day. So yeah, awesome on the Red Chucks. So we were talking about, sorry, going back, we're talking about Storyman was saying about barefoot training. Now you guys probably see I do a lot of barefoot skipping outside, but we were talking about cold and barefoot running. I've always been big into the idea of bare knuckle, of barefoot training, especially because I've had issues with my feet over the years, because all our feet are weak, you get rolling, you get like, I've worn those insoles. So I found barefoot skipping has helped me a lot. But I had a congenital problem anyway, so that was always going to be a problem. But anyway, in answer to Storyman's point, I used to live in the UK in a place with a farm field behind me, and I used to go barefoot running through the farm field. Every now and then I caught a freaking nail in the foot or something, but unfortunately that's just, it was like a field with long grass, but it was really good. It was, you'll be surprised, your proprioception is that good when you know, just in general, and when you start barefoot running, that even if you're barefoot running and you start to like jump onto a thorn, you almost like hover, you almost like float off of it somehow magically. Like the amount of times I just, you know, I was running like full run, and I just sort of started to step on something sharp, and I'd be like, woo, you know, and I'd like jump off it real quick. So yeah, definitely barefoot running is something that I have done in the past, but it's difficult in the cold. Like I used to get numb feet, so yeah. So, but good on you, Story Man. Give it a try, but don't run on hard. Don't run on hard stuff. Don't run on hard stuff if you're going to do barefoot running. But barefoot skipping, you might be able to do some barefoot skipping outside for a little bit, or just skipping maybe in your socks, which is a little bit better, you know, to get the bones working. Anyway, so we got some questions here. Red Chuck saying the stash is back. Triple B says you should make and sell these training tools you use. Red Chuck says classic mixed with new age. Yeah, with his channel. Storyman says, I think the moustache works for you, by the way. Yeah, they hate it at work. The people hate the moustache at work, but they love to hate it. So that's it. Like I was at work yesterday and my boss was like, what is that? But she, a female, I've got a female boss, but she was like, what is that disgusting thing on your face? And I was just like, it's dirty and it's gonna stay just to torment everyone. But yeah, my wife doesn't complain about it. So Triple B says you should sell these training tools. Oh well, I don't know, Triple B. You know, my channel is all about trying to like train, you know, with what you've got and trying to save. You know, I'm always trying to save money, so you know, trying to show people how to make stuff cheap. You know, show people how to, you know, if I had the materials and I had the stuff to offer the quality of stuff that I'd want, then yeah, I'd offer people training material, or maybe in the future. But at the moment, it's easy to go to Home Depot, get yourself a roll of bamboo for your training of your grip, you know, stuff like that. It's really easy for people to do that. The iron palm bag, get yourself, like I say, get yourself a rice, buy a bag of rice from the shop. You know, they're all shipped over from India or wherever. Buy yourself a bag of rice from the shop, get it back home, chuck your filling in there. Even if you put 2 or 3 of the bags inside, put some tape on there. There we go, you've got an iron palm bag, a pair of old jeans, put some cable ties on the end, cut the leg off, put some cable ties on, twizzle it round. You've got an iron palm bag. You know, there's you know, yeah, kind of, that's the sort of thing I'd like to help people out with those things. Red Chuck says, keep it up. Storyman says, bare knuckle stuff is awesome. Makes a huge difference when you can actually run the risk of breaking your hand. Of course, you can always break your hand, but you'll just probably hurt it less. And Storyman says, modern shoes make our feet weak. They do, especially as if you're like me, and my mum put me in like, because, you know, when you're a kid, you can't control what happens. My mum put me in like the shittest shoes. I used to go to school. You know, like some kids would come to school, maybe the more sportier kids, and they would have, you know, like, you know, the thin shoes, you know, the sporty shoe. It'd be a school shoe, but it was like a high-tech school shoe. I always had like the school shoes that were like a shoe boot, you know, where it's like, it's basically a big boot with the top end cut off, and it had like a thick classic sole with that classic tread on, and it was like usually a size or two too big for me. And I went from living in Africa, where I literally just lived in bare feet and thongs, chambalis we called them, sandals or whatever you call them, you know, the thing with the thing that goes in your toe, you know, flip-flops. I literally lived in flip-flops, which also aren't great for your foot. Apparently they like change the way you walk. So I literally lived in flip-flops in Africa, and then I've come to the UK where I'm like living in big, horrible, nasty shoes, and I just don't think it did me any good for my back and spine and stuff. Storyman says, have you heard of Maxick? I recall correctly, he was an early 1900s strongman who developed the art of muscle control. Some of the stuff his book talks about reminds me a bit of Qigong. No, I haven't actually, Maxick. But again, it's interesting. Like I was talking to some of the guys. I had an old boxing manual. Maybe it was Triple B I was talking to about it. I had an old boxing manual years ago, and it had breath exercises in, which was super cool. You know, it was like go to your window in the morning and like breathe out, like fully, and then expand your chest, diaphragm, and breathe in. You know, fully. And it had these like old man style twizzly mustache breathing exercises in that no one probably does, and crouching and squeezing and then standing tall and breathing in. And of course, as you guys know, it's Qigong basically. It's Qigong breathing. It's diaphragm breathing, it's reverse breathing, you know, whatever breathing you want it to be. So let's see some more questions here. Okay. So, Jesus, so many videos, so many questions. So I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of people talking about brick walls. Like I don't know why brick walls is everyone's favorite thing. But look, I don't want to generalize here, but I get a lot of people coming onto the channel and they say, well, you know, can I just punch a brick wall? All I've got is a brick wall. Can I just hit a brick wall? Or I hit brick walls, or all I need to do is hit brick walls. So something about the magical brick wall that so many people mention brick wall. Now, first off, now I know I'm generalizing. When someone comes on to me, not that freaking my opinion matters, but because people are talking to me, when someone comes to me and starts talking about brick walls, the first thing I do is usually I go, oh man, this guy probably doesn't do any training. Or genuinely hits a brick wall, but doesn't realize that there's way better ways to train. Or maybe hits a brick wall once every couple of weeks, you know. So, but I do get the comments. People come and say, oh, all you need to do is hit a brick wall like I do. And look, I believe if hitting a brick wall was the best way to train your iron palm and your iron fist, there would be loads of brick wall exponents. There would be no reason for China to have made all these complicated methods and techniques, because everyone would just be hitting a brick wall. It's just, there are methods like that in the 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin, but none of them are just hit a brick wall. They're always building up to it. There was always other training. So usually when people start talking to me about brick walls and experience, I do start to turn off, because I've yet to come across someone who regularly and consistently trains on a brick wall, who hasn't done all the other training, and therefore, or lots of other training, or some kind of training, and therefore their advice of all you need to do is hit a brick wall to a beginner or to anyone isn't correct, because, you know, they might have done it for years and built up to it, but still that's not the best way. So, so yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this magical brick wall, the ultimate training tool. Like, a brick wall is useful and it can be useful, but usually when I see people doing like iron palm videos, when I see people doing videos, and I had someone comment on my channel here. They were like, oh, go to, you know, it was in the spam, but it said, check out my channel, no talking bullshit, just training. I went on their channel and it was just them like punching like a steel beam and, you know, a brick wall and a tree. But then again, they were just going like this. You know, just tapping the things, you know, just, so I can't really tell how long they've trained from that, because you can get someone who's done no training whatsoever. Also, their videos weren't very old. Each video was only a day. So it looked to me like on the same day, they just went and hit a tree, then hit a wall, then hit a thing. And of course, anyone can do that on day one. They can probably do it on day two. But as you start getting to day 3, day 4, day 5, you can't do it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like if you are gonna train, like Storyman says, brick wall thing's a bit strange. If you are gonna hit a brick wall and that's your only method of training, it's not great. I don't advise it, and you're not gonna be able to do it often, because no matter how good you are, you're gonna be able to get away with it for a couple of days and then you'll have an injury. And why do I know this? Because I've trained these conditioning things for 19 years or more. And trust me, I tried the brick wall idea years ago and it doesn't work, okay? But actually, I won't say it doesn't work. I don't think it works, but I love to be proved wrong. And people are amazing things. So yeah, if you consistently, just like the 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin, if you consistently did it, you were very careful with the amount of force you used, you might have to take some rest days in between or a week or something if you did get an injury, and you consistently and constantly did it, you could do it. But there's so many better ways. Even if you put a tea towel or a little towel on top of the brick wall, that would already be a better way than just hitting the brick wall. And why, you ask? Because the towel or the object would spread the force of the impact over your whole knuckle, so make your whole knuckle stronger. You know, do you get what I mean? It's like you know, if you get a plate and you hit a plate with like a steel bar. If I've got a plate and I hit the plate with the steel bar, it's just going to smash the plate. But if I have I don't know, a bundle or a towel, or I don't know, this is a bad analogy, but if I have a big thing and I hit the plate, it's not going to break the plate. You know, it's going to spread the force. That was the worst analogy ever. But anyway, you get what I mean. Or maybe you don't. But yeah. Other thing to note for anyone who's still listening is I'm always experimenting with things, and at the moment I'm experimenting with intermittent fasting. The reason I'm doing that, is to lower inflammation in the body, which is good for your training, improve your organism. And for me personally, I've had stomach issues for years, and I really need to get them resolved. I am now trying to get them medically resolved as well, but as a help, I'm doing some intermittent fasting. So as a guy who weighs about 80 odd kilos, whatever that is in American pounds, obviously this is the thing I've been resisting for my whole life, or the last 7 years. Because I've known about fasting, I've known that it could benefit me, but I've never had the ego in my mind. You know, I guess I'm too proud of what little I've got with regards to like muscle and whatever. I'm scared of losing muscle. I'm scared of losing weight. I'm scared of losing strength, as I guess everyone would be if you spent years training. When I first got very sick years ago, I did lose a lot of weight and muscle, and I never regained it. So yeah, I'm worried about that. But hold on a second. Sorry guys, bear with me, I just got a delivery. Where is my gripper anyway? Yeah, just a delivery. Let's see. Storyman says he does intermittent fasting quite unintentionally, purely due to the way it naturally eats. When he naturally eats and sleeps and feel hungry. I'm not usually hungry very much. So he usually only eats later in the day. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Oh yeah, so Storyman was saying, we were talking about intermittent fasting, and Storyman was saying that due to the way he eats, due to his day, normally he doesn't eat till the end of the day. Well, that's interesting you're saying that, because I was finding did you see, I've been one of these people, well, ever since I was a kid. I think I've got like undiagnosed like overproduction of acid or whatever you call that, and a few intolerances that I've sorted out. So I'm one of these people, I'm just always eating. And obviously now that I'm 30 something, it's taking its toll on me. So yeah, that's why I've gone to do the fasting, to give myself time to recover. Now I have found that unintentionally I've also been fasting, because for instance, like we've got at the MMA club where I go, there's a class at 9:30, there's a class at 12. So quite often I'll wake up, I won't have breakfast, I'll go to the 9:30 class, and then I'll come back and maybe go to the 12 o'clock class, and then it's only like 1 or 2 o'clock by the time that I have any food. So it's an unintentional fast as well. So that's kind of become my routine for the last few months. Has it been helping my guts? I don't know. But that's why I decided to ramp things up and go for like 24-hour fasts. Doesn't mean I'll lose a bit of weight, yes, but I think the benefits outweigh the risks when you've got problems with your stomach anyway that, you have to take medication for, you want them to go away. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but yeah. So Storyman, I think you saying you eat once a day works for me, so good luck for you. Hope it solves some problems. Yeah, well, I hope so too. It's not great because I love my food. And obviously if you're training a lot, you want to get the calories, you need the nutrition. But I think to some extent the body needs to be reminded that it can be a lot more efficient. I'm giving my body everything it wants, and my body's not working with it fully and properly. So now I'm it's the final discipline that I need to do. So I'm gonna do that. I would say it's the final discipline, is that ultimate internal discipline of the body needs to be shown that, mate, you're not gonna get food all the time. You best start working a little bit harder. Oh, so Storyman says he eats a couple of meals separated by a few hours in a 6 to 8 hour window. So yeah, that is a classic intermittent fast. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, look, once again, nice to chat to people here. Hopefully some guys will catch this video later on when it comes out, if anyone's interested, because it's just a sit and talk video. If I do a live training today, just keep a lookout for it. I'm on a rest day. I'm actually fasting as well today. The other day when I did my tire training video that we did outside, I was fasting then too. So I don't find any problems with training on fasting. So I haven't found any problems. Oh, so Storyman says he used to fast for days at a time. Once fasted for a week. Yeah, there are a few videos online I've watched of like guys who've like fasted for a week, you know, just on water or something like that. Oh, cat's here. Bloody cat! Look at this cat. Yeah, I've seen that. I want to give it a go. I know my ultimate goal is a 36-hour fast. I should do one. But I'm going to do these 24-hour fasts. I've been doing them. 24-hour fasts, 20-hour fasts. Once I get into them and my body gets used to it, I might hit myself one day with a 36-hour fast, just to really, it's meant to reset your immune system. But then I read recently that, this poor cat jumps up and tries to get some love and then I throw it off. I read somewhere recently that that even the 24-hour fasts, you know, do a similar thing. You know, it helps to reset your immune system. Then there's the whole, I don't know if you guys know, there's the whole, with regards to fasting, there's the whole world of what do they call it? Diminished calorie fasting. And I've read some material that diminished calorie fasting is actually better than water fasting. So diminished calorie fasting is where, for say you have as a guy, you'd have 600 calories every lunchtime. Yeah, but that's all you'd have, or you'd have 600 calories a day. And the one of the diets I saw recommended it at lunchtime. And then apparently some of the stuff I was reading about it was saying you still seem to get the benefits, and you get more benefits. I can't remember what it was. Something like 20 or 30 or 40% more effective at something, at reducing inflammation, or it was something in the body, because you were getting this little bit of nutrients for the body to work with. So yeah, but who knows? Okay, guys, look, hey, thanks a lot. What should I do? If we do a live training today, what should we do? So that's what I'm going to put out there. The other day we were doing grip, we did tire. So if we do a live training today, what should we do? So that's a question for you guys there. If you're catching this later on, what do you want to see in the next live training? Usually I just put up what I'm doing at the time. But yeah, anyway, guys, look, it's been great chatting to you. Hopefully you guys catch this. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for all the Patreon guys. Thank you, Storyman, for all your good comments today. Nice to be able to chat with you. That was awesome. And you've given me some awesome points on fasting as well, so I appreciate that. Storyman says, fasts are great for longevity, gives your organs a rest, not optimal for sustaining or building muscle, but it has its uses. Have a good day. If you train later, stance or tendon. Stance or tendon training. Alrighty. Well, we can mix both of those together. And also they're not too vigorous for like a fast day. So that's a good idea. So we'll do stance or tendon training. Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Oh, well, there we go. As it stands at the moment for your stance or tendon training, try doing some, as a little teaser tidbit, try doing some, what do you call, like, try doing some static tension training. Yeah, so grab, this is a classic one you see, an iron wire. So you're here on your table, grab your consecutive fists, yeah, and pull. Don't pull too hard, but just build up the tension and pull. This is like iron wire, and then pull and jerk. So build up that tension and then pull and pull and pull and pull. Do a bit of those, change over, same, push out the chest, pull, 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 and you can see it works the body. And then try and just pull your hands apart. You can see the tension increasing, and then let the tension go. And the same. Yeah, so you warm up with the gradually increasing attention. You build it up to literally like you're trying to rip your hands off. Then do it with pressing each palm together. Do it here with pressing each palm together, not here, because this is just the bones. But do it here with pressing each palm together, and you'll feel the chest engage. So you press, and you press, you push the chest out, pressing them together. Yeah. Yeah, and then you do consecutive. Keep that pressure, keep it in the middle. Oh, and already you'll feel it. Once you get to that stage, you'll feel it, yeah? Push your hands out in front of you. Keep them clasped together. Keep that pressure. You raise the hands up to the sky. Raise them in front of your body. Raise them down. And you'll feel the connectivity of how the body connects. Yeah, this is also a breathing method for iron bell training. Steel shirt training, iron jacket. Golden bell, sorry. Yeah, tension up here, above the head, tension in line with the heart, and tension below the belly. Yeah. So try those, do, and feel those benefits. Of course, it goes behind the head too. Yeah. Yeah, again, like this, behind the head, and you can even do it behind the arm if you can reach. If you've got the flexibility, but don't press too hard on that one. That one's more of a stretch. Yeah. And behind the arm there. Yeah. That's more of a stretch, that one. But if you can interlock your hands and apply some outside force, that's great for that. Yeah. Then lean forward. I'll show you here. You can see my silly shorts. Then lean forward. Yeah. And butt your hands out into your knees. Yeah. This is called the golden turtle if you're not sitting down, but it's basically the golden turtle. And crush in with your knees. And breathe. Yeah? And you can also do this. Crush, 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 crush. And then pressure, constant pressure. And out, constant pressure. Yeah? So do a few of those. And you get a little bit of a seated, I mean, you could do that anywhere. You get a little bit of a seated iron wire tendon workout because you're working the tendons of the chest. When you press your hands out and you press them yogi style, you're working this and the lats behind the head. You're working that and the strength of the shoulder. You can also press to the sky with your fingers interlocked. Pressing to the sky with your fingers interlocked. Obviously you see how this works into a standing set. And then you're crouching down. You can just be sitting on your chair. Yes. Well, that's iron wire story, man. That's what it is. It's iron wire. And already, just from doing those few, especially when you crouch down and you're doing the knees and you're crunching the knees in, you should already feel that your body starts to like, you know, feel invigorated, you know, because you're training into this internal kung fu training. And again, the only reason it's internal, I mean, no one will be listening at this video at this point except Storyman, but the reason why it's internal kung fu training is because it is literally training your inside. It's not magic, it's not training internal energy. Well, it is, because you do it and you feel internal energy, but the internal energy is real energy of your body, as in it's muscular energy. It's actual energy of your body working. You know, like I've just done that as a brief little exercise, straightens up the body, straightens up the spine, straightening, adjusting, pressure rising, and it flushes your body with with hormones and a good feeling, and you can just do it. You'll see. You probably feel it already. You do it. Like I'm sitting here, I'm fasting. I've had no food, but I've just done this little wake up exercise that we just did then, and crushing with the knees, because the leg muscles are such a big muscle group, and already I feel, you know, as I'm talking to you guys, I feel like, I feel powerful, you know. And then do it pressing the sky, pressing forward. Yeah. You can even crunch in like this, yeah, but this is different for the shoulder blades. But anyway, I'll stop there. Otherwise, I'll end up doing like a whole freaking half an hour bloody video on us doing this training. Get carried away. All right, mate. Thanks, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. Kind of gives me the feeling of vitality and energy yoga used to give me when I was in college. Yeah, it's the same thing, Storyman. It's the same thing. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks, guys, for supporting the channel. If you like other things, I'm doing another channel which I think chased a lot of people away because I posted a link to it. But if you like other stuff, like nerdy stuff, like a bit of comics, games, no, I haven't done any games on there yet because I don't play a lot of games, but I've got games consoles. But if you like other stuff, like a bit of comics and games, I've got some movie swords and memorabilia and stuff that I'm going to be looking at, and other gadgets and gizmos that I like to review. Check out my other channel, Ultimate Internet Warrior. If you go on the community feed, I think there's a small link posted to one of the things, but it's called the Ultimate Internet Warrior channel. It's just a side channel that I'm doing for some of my other interests, where I can just like show a comic or show a game or show you guys a movie sword. I don't think it would fit in here. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, if I showed if I did a review on like the Conan Barbarian sword and what I thought about it, like I think people would just get confused. And there's a lot of channels there that they're kind of martial arts channels, but they do a bit of everything, and they might have some like manga stuff. But I think ultimately it kind of, I think people don't take them seriously, when it's like, oh, well, it's either martial arts or, I don't know. Anyway, so I did a separate channel for that stuff. It's very small, incredibly small. But yeah, it's another interest of mine. Recently got into comics, so because I don't have the Storyman says I'm fine with the nerdy stuff. I don't mind. So if any of those things interest you guys, movie memorabilia or swords, weapons, I've always been interested in weapons. Games, comics, and other things like watches and stuff like that. I got some nice watches that I got some World War II watches, World War I watches. So just a general mixed bag of stuff. You can find it on there. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Keep up the good training. Please keep up the health, and yeah, keep safe out there.